This is Design Safe Radio, where natural hazards researchers strive to make our society more resilient to everything nature throws at us.
I want to wrap up here and getting into some of the really exciting deployments that you've been on. You've been at like over 90 of these missions to all over hither and yon. What are some of your highlights over the past few years that the Rapid team has sent people and equipment to?
This is a really hard question.
I know, it's like picking your favorite kid,
for my,
right?
You know, who's the favorite of my children? Because all of the missions, as I kind of think about them, are really all really interesting for a whole range of different reasons. But you know, some of the ones that really come to mind in terms of their impact, the Apollo, the GEAR, the Geotechnical Extreme Event Reconnaissance Organization mission to Palu, Indonesia, their investigation of flow slides that very tragically killed over 4,000 people. That was really an extraordinary mission for collecting data that nobody else had collected. Data has since been used and reused by a number of international teams, but the breakthrough with that mission was that the drone and the structure from motion reconstruction to remake the landscape and capture those scenes enabled that team to make a real breakthrough, which was in identifying the role of a agricultural canal in artificially recharging the groundwater system. So I think that was a big outcome. On the structure side, the Hurricane Michael reconnaissance in support of STEER provided some really unique fundamental insights to the behavior of large volume buildings in hurricanes, and also with some recommendations for improving the building code in that area. We have a project in Westport, Washington, with social scientists in digitally capturing a city that is at risk for tsunamis. And the social sciences aspect of that is how can you use this digital information to relay these concepts to members of the public and decision makers so they can make decisions about their future as to whether it's worthwhile to invest in things like vertical evacuation structures. That's been a really interesting project. I think that certainly over the last year or so, we're approaching the summer. So what comes to mind is the Surfside condominium collapse, obviously an enormous tragedy. Oh, yeah. While that was not an NSF project per se, we did deploy almost immediately in support of NIST with our laser scanners to capture the standing portion of that building before it was ultimately demolished within 24 hours of our arrival. And that was because of an incoming hurricane. And so that was intentionally imploded. But a lot of the information and understanding about why that disaster occurred was really contained in that standing building. So we very quickly laser scanned that, had a great team on the ground and scanned that from multiple perspectives. And then the last one I'll just say quickly is the Marshall Fire in Colorado. It's a project led by Erica Fisher and Brad Wham. This was a GEAR mission, and I think they've made some really interesting findings with the kind of better understanding the urban wildfire interface and how fire propagates across properties and what are some of the factors that can influence that beyond wind and some of the obvious kind of elements.
And I would be remiss to not mention the one that you've got in your background here. I think this is what New Zealand. I mean, you got a LiDAR scanner up on the hill there, and I think
if you look very carefully over my shoulder, I guess it's over to my it's over my left shoulder. If you look very carefully, you'll see our MapTech laser scanner that has a scan in process when this photo was taken. That's shooting across the valley. This was an investigation of geologic hazards in the South Island of New Zealand. Supporting a research investigation as to how these risks can be disaggregated and better understood. It was really one of our first deployments, international deployments, when we became field operational in 2018. And so this is one of the really extraordinary things about this job is the opportunity to work in settings such as this, just really unique places in the world. This was a beautiful setting to work in. We work in some really challenging locations as well, particularly post-disaster settings that can be much more difficult.
Yeah, if these stories are inspiring you to be like, oh man, I want to listen to Joe talk all day, come and visit. Come to a couple of things that you'll be at as the Rapid workshop in the end of July. There's probably no more space there, but if you happen to be there, definitely grab Joe for a drink after one of the sessions, and he'll be happy to regale you with stories of deployments. But hopefully, I'm not going to twist your arm too far, but to say that you'll be back at the American Geophysical Union Fall meeting in Chicago in December, where we'll always go out to dinner afterwards with any interested natural hazards researcher, or grab you for coffee and be happy to chat about anything reconnaissance related.
Absolutely. And Dan, as we emerge from this pandemic and, and we return to in-person meetings, I'll tell you that we'll be there in a number of venues. We're going to be attending the National Conference on Earthquake Engineering in July, and we're on the books for attending a number of other meetings. And so we're going to also have some trainings in conjunctions with those. But it's really important for us to connect directly with the user community and kind of meet them where they are, which typically at some of these larger venues. So as we emerge, we look forward to talking with you all in person.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll make sure to put links in the show notes for this episode so that you'll be able to register for those conferences and meet up with the Rapid staff everywhere where they're going to be. So I guess I'll be seeing you in Salt Lake City in June, which will be great. Looking forward to that. And where else can people follow along with the great things that the Rapid is doing, or maybe submit an idea for a project? Where can they find you?
So the easiest way right now is to find us just by Googling UW Rapid. If you just Google Rapid, you can imagine you'll get a billion entries in Google because of that use of the word. I will say that we are going to be unveiling a significantly revised and enhanced website that's going to have a lot of our training materials, some video training materials available, a more timely advertisement of some of our training opportunities. So that's going to probably be unveiled in about the next 1 or 2 months. I can't point you to that yet, but again, Google us and we're easy to find. We have simple contact information. Go to our contacts page and send us an email, give us a call, whatever your preferred method is.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. It's always great to chat with you, and just a pleasure having you. And thanks for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, Dan. It's great to chat with you, and thanks for having us.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of Design Safe Radio. This show is sponsored by the National Science Foundation, grant number 2129782. You can subscribe to Design Safe Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you find your podcasts. Please leave us a review so that we can improve the show and also help others find our episodes in iTunes. Thanks for your feedback and support. We really appreciate it. You can find out more about NARI at designsafe-ci.org, on Facebook at Design Safe Radio, or on Twitter at NARI Design Safe.